The difference between this case and what happened in 2010 is that at least this time around we get to see the man involved. We saw him return, it was about a year ago, from the United States. He was in Abuja. He definitely had some difficulty, but you did see him try to wave. You did see him try to speak after many people visited him. He was alleged that he signed a particular document. We don't know how well he'll be able to move his limbs, but we do know that after that, an accident is grave as that particular one, there will definitely be some challenges, and it will take him some time to recuperate. But I'm looking at the part of the Constitution now, which says that 189 Part 2, it says the medical panel certifies, where the medical panel certifies in its report that in its opinion the governor or deputy governor is suffering from such infirmity of body or mind as renders him permanently incapable of discharging the functions of his office. A notice thereof signed by the Speaker of the House of Assembly shall be published in the official gazette of the government of the state. The words I'm looking to underline here is permanently incapable. Yeah. Have we been able to, certify very clearly, beyond doubt, that this governor is permanently incapable?
You see, I'm not a lawyer. And I think one of the major problems that the Yar'adua cabinet faced even at that material time was the honest advice provided by the then Minister of Health,
That's him over there. That was, I think, when I was visited in the United States.
Yeah. The then Minister of Health, Professor Oshitimehin, came up and told the council that as a professor of medicine, it's impossible for you to define an individual as permanently incapacitated. Okay? And so I was not surprised immediately after the vice president was made acting president and was made to reshuffle his cabinet, Oshitimehin was not returned as a minister, because that obviously was an objective, scientific statement. Because a worst-case scenario, could end up miraculously. Doctors will always tell you that. So to argue, I'm not saying that the governor of Taraba State is permanently incapacitated. All I'm saying is that he looks ill, he looks very sick, and therefore incapable. And if it were not so, it does not need any fanfare. It does not need any politics. The gentleman will simply walk back to Jalingo and take over the responsibility of the state. The Constitution is very clear about it. It does not require any State House of Assembly or any acting or anybody. Once he walks in, addresses the people, addresses the State Assembly, automatically he has... But for some group of people somewhere, simply because they desire to secure certain political objectives, I think it is the responsibility of every Nigerian to rise to this occasion to, insist that the ideal, the correct things must be done if we are really to have our democracy entrenched, in the right direction. But playing double standards, today it's you and yes, I'm for you, and tomorrow it's the other person, no, I'm not for that person, in my view, will only continue to aggravate the problems. And of course, like I did say in the beginning of this program, that it's the responsibility of the citizens of this country. It doesn't matter whether you're from Ogun State, whether you're from, Enugu State, wherever you are from. Once any particular issue of constitutionality rears its head in the polity, it is our responsibility as citizens, as elites, to come up clearly and say our positions and talk to the people that are involved in order to be able to
just a moment here. Now you've talked about the Constitution, we should also bring into focus the role of the Taraba Assembly. Shouldn't they be looking towards that section of the Constitution as well?
Well, Suleiman, they have already. Over the weekend, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly has announced the appointment of a 5-man medical team. Of course, including as provided by the Constitution,
his own physician,
including the personal physician of the governor, to look at the issue. But one fact that I want, and I think this again is a culmination of all the tricks and political intrigues that have been going on in the state. Ordinarily, as long as Danbaba Suntai is in hospital or is recuperating, he remains the governor of Taraba State until May 29th. 2015. If he gets well on the 28th of May, he's back in office. If he gets well today, he's back in office. But I think it is the pressure that the various political, and this is where your question comes in, the various political tendencies within Taraba State are exerting on the polity possibly that has resulted in the House of Assembly making this move. And you see, the unfortunate part of it is that if you take the Constitution as it has provided, what it simply means is that by the time the medical team will come up with a report of incapacitation, the next thing that the Assembly will do, obviously, is to impeach the governor. And this is very unwarranted. Oh, you understand?
Mm-hmm. This is, so you think that the situation we have right now is a truce of some sort? Is that what you're saying? I mean, first of all, we have the acting governor who continues to act, but Danbaba Suntai remains the governor, even though he's not exactly doing any, carrying out his functions as governor. Is that what you're saying?
That's the reality.
Would you say that that situation is ideal?
Well, if you want to take it from the perspective of political morality, it is ideal. But if you are taking it strictly from the constitutional point of view, it is not right.
You know, I'm trying to look at it quite differently. Looking at the headlines today, quite an interesting one we're getting from the military and talking about the fight. Taraba State is in the northeast, isn't it?
It is.
And with all of this that is going on in the northeast, security-wise, this shouldn't be one of those that we should be looking into it the wrong way, the politics in Taraba State. Is there any kind of security implication in what is about to happen in Taraba State?
Well, there are a lot of issues that border on security as far as this issue is concerned. Remember that in Taraba State we've had some intermittent attack by the insurgency groups, over a period of time. But the endemic crisis that you have in Taraba State is ethnic, crisis that you have in the Ukari axis, especially in the southern part of the state, and other similar areas. But then the security implication is mostly anchored on the fact that in the event that the government in Jalingo is weakened by this obvious protracted struggle for power, then the likelihood of having more insurrection or the capacity of insurgents moving into the states will be high. The capacity of also inter-ethnic rivalry, which of course has resulted and may likely continue to result in bloodbath, the destruction of life and property, would continue. So the entire crisis, in my view, is uncalled for, and it's unfortunate, because everybody has his ambition. And as a politician, of course, your ambition obviously will be to be in the seat of power so that you'll be able to allocate the resources of that particular society. But then, of course, we must be careful as students of politics to advise those who are in politics that there is the need for them to be very careful and wary of the kind of agitation. The competition is really, really cutthroat. It is heated. But then, of course, within the heat of the competition, the politician is expected to realize the obvious implications and complications that are likely to arise as a result of the desire to achieve certain inordinate ambitions that are, in most cases, in the Nigerian political scene, inordinate and selfish.
Do you think that the constitution of this medical panel by the State House of Assembly will help solve this matter? What do you see coming out of it?
I see two scenarios. I see two scenarios. It is not necessary. I cannot, for sure say this is likely going to be the conclusion of that, panel. But two things are likely to come out of it, or three. One is for the panel to come out and say, look, the governor is healthy, he is recuperating. Okay? The second alternative may be that the panel will come up with, look, this gentleman is not fit to continue as the governor of Taraba State. Okay, so let's keep moving like that until it is time. It's about 8 months to the end of tenure now. We pray for him to recuperate and get back to office. And the third alternative is for the panel to decide and determine decisively too that truly the governor is not in good moral or physical or mental condition to continue as the governor of Taraba State, and therefore it is recommended that he is removed from office. Now, I would not like that to happen really. And I'm sure, like I said, the constitution of this panel by Taraba State House of Assembly may not be unconnected with all these, intrigues and politics that seem to be going.
But looking at the assembly, I mean, I want to believe that they have cooperated very strongly with the current acting governor, as it were.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is reaction to an outside force, or is this something that they are independently taking by themselves?
Well, I wouldn't know, because I'm not a member of Taraba State House of Assembly, and I'm not even from Taraba State. I'm simply an observer of the politics of states in Nigeria and the center. But I would like to think really that, like I said, this might necessarily be a product of, the forth and back, bickering and political, I don't like to use the political, crisis